Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. Hope you guys have all had a great day. It's sure been a quiet day in the markets, and that's because there's been no trading. Happy President's Day. It seems like we don't even know what to look at in our portfolios when nothing is moving around. So quiet day. We're going to be talking about where Palantir is opening it up in the overnight hours. We'll be going over an article, some things happening in the news with some more politicians actually acquiring Palantir, and possibly talking about a new contract announcement with the Department of Transportation. We're also going to be talking about what expectations we can see in the market. We have the Fed meeting minutes that are going to be coming out, hopefully giving us some more insights regarding interest rate cuts. How many are we going to possibly see? What's the market pricing in? And some of the other big stocks that are hot right now on the market, and especially with one of the big ones, NVIDIA, making a large comeback up to about 140 right now as we speak. So if you're a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, not a financial advisor, collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Let's see if we can hit 24,000 subscribers. Now, pop it up on the screen here, where Palantir is sitting at right now in the overnight hours, opening up, kind of just holding steady at 119.12. Where it closed, remember, on last Friday was at about 119. Now, Palantir is sitting at these all-time highs. So, personally, it's still in this price discovery mode. We'll see what kind of things happen. But after this Q4 earnings, remember, that we've seen Palantir that's continue to accelerate at a very rapid pace. So, all the concerns about valuation right now, people that have been concerned about valuation, waiting for those pullbacks, yes, we've seen small pullbacks, but the dip's been immediately bought right back. So, the momentum right now is showing no signs of cooling off. I'm still expecting personally Palantir to accumulate in price as long as the broader market is showing positive signs. Now, looking at here, Trade Whisperer on X talks about the Department of Transportation has spoken, saying that Palantir has been awarded an initial contract of $12.2 million plus another $2 additional million here for Palantir's enablement and license support services for safety data transformation. The start date here, it says for this contract, is February 12th, ending on 2025, ending not till August of 2029. Talking about here how every agency wants to transform and bring basically a utility and a use case with AI, Palantir, and ontology. Now, with Palantir, I'm going to be diving into some more. I haven't seen any more sources on where this is coming from, but looking into here, if this is true, looking at this just coming from the screenshot here on X and on Trade Whisperer, that is a pretty big accomplishment. We see Palantir that's continuing to establish these contracts across the board, commercial, governmental things. Things are looking well, and that transitions here to the next thing. Another politician buying Palantir. We've seen recently, just a few short weeks ago, basically no politician owned Palantir. This time we have a representative here from Georgia who sits on the Homeland Security Committee, now the fourth politician to have actually filed a buy for Palantir. 2 weeks ago, like I said, no politician has ever bought Palantir ever. So now that we've seen a change in the administration, especially with some of the ties and relationships that Palantir founders have with the current, people in the actual administration, we're seeing politicians that are now starting to acquire Palantir, and especially Homeland Security Committee right here, working with defense sector types of industrial niches. Palantir is going to be on the forefront of that, and they already are. So not surprised here. I think we're probably going to continue to see increased filings for politicians getting into Palantir. Great to see across the board. Now, TradingView comes out with this article talking about Wedbush is betting big on Palantir stock for an AI revolution in 2025. This is going to be talking about some predictions on what market capitalization, not just for Palantir, but for what AI stocks are expected to look around here over the next half of the decade, the next 5 years. Now, Wedbush is usually very bullish on Palantir, so make sure we get a full understanding of that. We see Dan Ives, but he's been right this whole time with his bullish price predictions. He's been right. So with this article here, let's give it some attention. According to this report here from Statista, right now the AI market is forecasted to expand at a compounded annual growth rate of 27.7% as a whole. Now that's a very fast growth rate. In terms of numbers, that addressable market for AI is forecasted to go from about 243 billion up to about 826, so almost a billion, almost a trillion by 2030, making this a very disruptive space to enter right now. Basically, all AI stocks are doing fairly well. The majority of them are. Now, Wedbush actually identified Palantir as the top pick for the AI revolution in 2025, and they expect it to gain traction among commercial customers over the next 18 months, and I couldn't agree anymore. Now that they've established and are continuing to build upon this large governmental defense contract type of relationship, this is just bringing more credibility to Palantir. So opening up the eyeballs for more commercial customers that want to get involved in AI, Palantir knows what to do, and they're at the first, basically, knock on the door. Now, with the market cap right here, Palantir has surged over 365% in the last 12 months. We've had an amazing, strong Q4 performance. I mean, let's just be honest, the last multiple quarters have been an amazing performance. So we'll talk about overvalued right here. Of course, Palantir is going to be overvalued. Right now, priced at 43.3x its forward sales, 118x forward earnings, and 104x its free cash flow. A lot of the stocks, and even AI stocks, tech stocks, stocks across the board, are all pretty overvalued right now. If we just look at kind of the median in it and the mean in the S&P 500 and the QQQ. Now, right now, let's look more what the analysts are saying. And what I like about the analyst is that the whole bar is being raised, the lower end and the upper end. And what I mean by that is out of the 18 analysts here actually covering Palantir who recommend only recommend a strong buy of those 18 analysts. 10 recommend a hold, moderate sell, and 6 recommend a strong sell. Right now, the average price target for Palantir is about 81.82, which is about 30% drop from now. But what I mean here is that the average price target for Palantir used to be like 30, 40, 50. So you see this bar, the stair step that is kind of slowly being raised, and the lower end is coming up with that. Remember when we've seen like RBC Capital that had a price target of $5 for Palantir and it has now raised their lower end, which shows you the stock is moving in a right direction. And even these analysts that are super bearish, calling it a strong sell, are still raising their price targets and raising their lower end on the price targets while maintaining that bearish position, which is beneficial for Palantir because the expectations across the board, even if it's bullish or bearish, they're both increasing their price target and their expectations. So great to see there. Looking into the market, we're seeing stock futures that are actually rising right now, advancing about 81 points for the Dow Jones futures, coming off of a winning week. Now, last week's gain summarized here talking about pop off on Thursday after Donald Trump's plan for reciprocal tariffs on countries with levies on U.S. goods. Stocks, they say here, have been kind of choppy. Earning expectations are continuing to accelerate. We see earnings seasons. We're in the middle of it right now. What more eyeballs are probably going to be looking at in the market this week is going to be the Federal Open Market Committee minutes and focus, the FOMC minutes. Now, the Federal Reserve is going to be in the spotlight this week as basically they're just trying to scrutinize just how long the central bank expects to be on hold regarding these interest rates. Now, remember, the Fed, the president, Jerome, came out repeatedly saying that the bank is in no hurry, they're in no rush. Their overall goal, the higher priority rather than just the interest rate cuts, is to get to the target inflationary rate, which is about 2%. So we've seen inflation that stays sticky, and you do have uncertainty with the potential tariffs, how that's going to impact the economy. We don't know. That's only going to be, kind of realized in due time. But clarity here on the path for monetary policy is going to be welcomed. Right now, the market's pricing in about 1 to 2 quarter-point cuts by the end of the year. In addition, looking at some of the things that could be happening, we see earnings reports scheduled, like I said, for retail giants. Walmart, that's a big one, along with U.S.-traded Chinese e-commerce companies. We got Alibaba, that's another big one, Carvana, and EV maker Rivian. We'll see how they're doing in terms of the EV market, which could be taking a little bit of a hit. NVIDIA, let's talk about that, has had a great rebound currently in the overnight hours, trading at $140. Now, NVIDIA has been doing very well. Remember when the DeepSeek kind of scare release came out? Came down to $113. So we see a great rebound. NVIDIA does like this $140 area, and this is where investors, I think, are going to continue to start to get back on board. They see the momentum that is pushing NVIDIA further, and that's where we could see possibly re-entry back into the 150s if there's any resistance right there. We'll see if NVIDIA can pop that resistance point. Other than that, NVIDIA did disclose what stocks it actually does own in its filings. And a lot of people pay attention to that because if NVIDIA is taking a stake in your company, then a lot of people are probably going to follow. They are pretty good. NVIDIA has 87 right now subsidiaries and operating units and investments in more than 40 different companies. So what happened recently for NVIDIA, they released on Valentine's Day their holdings and their sales in the recent filing, the 13F filing. They revealed that NVIDIA has sold its entire stakes here in SoundHound AI, Serve Robotics, SERV, and NanoX Imaging, NNOX. All these three companies took a big of a tumble. We'll see that. We'll see if they rebound at all. But we'll be paying attention to what, stocks that NVIDIA will start to accumulate underneath its own business, as stocks typically do rise as NVIDIA does reveal their holdings. Other than that, we'll see what happens kicking off in the market here. What's your prediction with Palantir? Do you think we're going to continue to see this push past 120, continuing to set all-time highs, or do you think we'll see a little bit of a pullback? Peace out, take care, and I'll catch you guys later.